Thank you all. Thanks for being here today. This is the regular meeting of the Board of Estimate and Apportionment, Wednesday, February 12th, 2021 at 2 p.m. Stephanie, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Cruzen,
Here.
Comptroller Green,
Here.
President Reed,
Here.
all present.
Thank you all. Items presented for the first time. Request from the Comptroller's Office for approval of contracts and leases for various city departments as listed on Exhibit A. Number 2, 21.087, request from the Comptroller's Office for approval of intra-departmental and interdepartmental transfers from various city departments as listed on Exhibit B. Number 3, 21.088, request from the Comptroller's Office for approval of transfers between projects for capital improvement funds listed on Exhibit C. Number 4, 21.089, request from the Mayor's Office for approval to pay an invoice for the U.S. Conference of Mayors membership for FY 2021 in the amount of $17,511 from Fund 1010 Center 190 account 5648000. Number 5, 21.090, request from the Director of Airports for approval of board bill to be determined. This ordinance authorizes the transfer of $13,727,769 from the airport's debt service stabilization fund to the airport revenue fund to mitigate rates in FY 2021 in accordance with the 5-year airport use and lease agreement that commenced on July 1, 2016. Number 6, 21.091, request from the St. Louis Development Corporation, Director of Commercial Development for approval of the issuance of up to $85 million plus in issuance costs, principal amount of industrial development bonds for the Anheuser-Busch/Evergreen LLC project at the Soulard Brewery. Number 7, 21.092, request from the City Councilor for approval to delete 1 Attorney 3 position and add 2 Attorney 1 positions to the table of organization for the Law Department. Number 8, 21.093, request from the Director of Public Safety and the City Councilor for approval to delete the following positions from the Police Division and add them to the City Councilor's office to facilitate the implementation of the body-worn camera project. 1 Attorney 1, 1 paralegal, 1 legal investigator. Number 9, 21.094, request from the Mayor's Office through the Department of Human Services for approval of transfers totaling $497,000 per ordinance number 71182 to provide services for homeless prevention, $38,000, eviction mediation, $220,000, landlord engagement, $157,000, and legal services, $82,000 from rental mortgage assistance 1410-8002-000-595629. Let me say that again, 5959629, 277,000, and personal protective equipment 1410-800-20001, $220,000 in response to the COVID-19 pandemic.
I move for removal of item number 5 due to the time frame it takes to pass a bill, and the board session ends soon.
I will second that since the board is out of session.
I need an explanation.
I don't think there is an explanation. It wasn't supposed to be on the agenda, and it's on the agenda.
Again, I did receive the letter. I did approve it more than a month ago. I approved it in December. I need an explanation if either of you would care to give one.
So Madam Comptroller, from my point of view, if it's important that it be on there, that's fine. I don't have any particular feeling about this this particular item, I guess there's no board bill that has been introduced. And
Yeah,
that's
it
what you're saying,
can't
President
be right
Reed?
now. Yeah, it cannot be. We can't introduce any board bills right now. It,
I believe this is out of order. I believe that approval by E&A should move forward. This particular item has gone through and will go through more than one board in order to be passed. I see no reason that this very normal process should not move forward. There will be a board bill assigned as indicated here and has been indicated in the previous E&A meeting that we just had a month ago. So I need an explanation as to why this airport request, this request is coming from the airport as it has come for the last several years, is being put on hold. Mr. President or Madam Mayor, a simple explanation will do.
So the board is going out of session and we're not able to introduce any board bills right now. And from the introduction of a bill to its final passage, I mean, it takes several weeks to do that. And when we come back up in the new session, and the other problem is that if we gave it a board bill number in this session, it would die when we come back for sine die, which is mid-April. So it would, everything that is on that agenda, everything that has a board bill number that has not been passed within that session dies, and you have to reintroduce it. So we can either do one or two things. If we adopt this here today, we need to adopt it with some type of amendment or understanding that the board will not act on it until the board comes back, toward the end of April, right? Because if we take it up now on the board, there's not enough time because we don't have any meetings. So if this is sent directly to the Board of Aldermen after we vote on it here today, and the clerk gives it a board bill number, the whole thing will be dead because it's not enough time to pass it. And then, but if we just bring it back up, later, we can do that, or decide to just make the motion on all these bills, but add a special amendment to this, that it is not to be given a board bill number until the new session of the Board of Aldermen commences.
Well, as the state, it says to be determined. Is that sufficient?
No, that isn't, because when we adopt it here at the Board of E&A, it goes to the Board of Aldermen for a board bill number. So we need to.
I understand your explanation there, but what I am hearing, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that you have yet to determine what the board bill will be, whether it's passed today or whether you wait a month. You won't know what the board bill will be. That's what I'm hearing. Maybe I'm incorrect.
No, so the way it would work is that once we adopt it here, it would go directly to the clerk of the board. The clerk of the board would have an obligation at that point to assign a board bill number, and he would assign a board bill number to it, which means that this item would die because it will have appeared in this session, right? Now, because when we come back for the new session, of course, we start with new board bill numbers and everything that was in this session is dead. We can, if we want to adopt this today, we can adopt it today and just add a special note to it that this is to be taken up in the next session of the Board of Aldermen and not this session. So the clerk will then assign it a board bill number when we get back in session.
So is that your recommendation, Mr. President, is to pass it today with a note? And what should the note be?
We can either do that, or we can just hold off on it and take it up at the next Board of E&A, which would be, in a time enough to, for that first session, right? We can do it either way. It doesn't matter to me. We can't just take it up the way it is today, because we wouldn't be helping the people who want this passed.
Well, I believe that it would be able to be passed today with a note, as you're stating. I just feel like this was approved 2 months ago. This is February. You're saying wait another month for approval because of the Board of Aldermen and the sequencing of the board bills. And I did have, I've heard the explanation before regarding the airport. I've not heard that explanation regarding other board bills, but that's neither here nor there today.
That's
neither here nor there today. And I want to say that it's up to you how you want to handle it, but I would hate to see you remove it from this agenda today and then take it up in a later agenda, when all we have to do today is add a note and move this forward. But, we are the governance and the executive branch, and to pick and choose which items to handle differently, in my view, this is my view, at the board regarding board bills not being on there. This is something that I'm trying to get used to, since we will have a new administration soon. And if we are going to be handling things, certainly in fashions that I'm not used to, I just need the time to get used to it and have a discussion about it, so I can make notes and take time to get ready for this kind of thing.
Could I make a suggestion?
Hold on for a second. I have to respond to some. Madam Comptroller, there isn't anything clandestine going on here.
Did it sound like I was saying that? I'm so sorry. That's not what I meant. What I meant, let me be real clear. I just heard two different ways to handle this from you. I gave you my preference. It's up to you to agree or disagree so that we can move on.
No,
but I want to know whether you want to take this off like you asked, the mayor seconded, and then you said you have another choice. I agree with the second choice, which is to keep it on passive with a no. If you disagree with me, you certainly can say that and we can move on.
Madam Comptroller, the inference that I'm only saying this because it's an airport bill is just outrageous. And I'm going to ask you to at least have some.
It's not outrageous, it is on point.
All right, so
I'm going to
I would just
my point because I have a right to have a point of view.
I would move that we remove this from the agenda and move forward. We can take it up when we come back at the appropriate time.
So I'm going to remove my second, President Reed.
Okay.
I think this should be done in the ordinary course of business. I think that you are correct. The board bill, if you look at the attachment number 5, number 5 attachments here, this was received in the comptroller's office on February 5th, according to the stamp that's on this. And that was the date, if I'm not mistaken, of the last Board of Aldermen meeting. So it could not have been introduced at the Board of Aldermen. It takes at least 3 meetings to pass the bill, and often it takes more than 3 meetings, but it takes at least 3. Now, I think this is a pretty ordinary course of business board bill. So I would offer this as a suggested change to the agenda. I'm going to read it again and put some words, if that's okay. Request from the Director of Airports for approval of a board bill to be determined in the 2021-2022 session of the Board of Aldermen.
That does it. That'll
That
do it.
way, and then the
Right.
rest of the language would be the same.
Perfect.
I
perfect.
could make a
You make that,
motion to amend item number 5 to say, request from the Director of Airports for approval of a board bill to be determined in the 2021-2022 Board of Aldermen session.
second.
Okay, all in favor of amending the agenda to, as I just said, please say aye.
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 Okay, now we all agree on the change to the agenda.
Yes. Now I
Okay.
move to adopt items 1 through 5, 1 through 9, including 5 as amended.
Second with a question. And I have a question for item number 6. My question is whether or not the bond issuance for the industrial development bonds will be needing any signature from the Office of the Comptroller.
So it has been moved and seconded. Your question is part of the discussion. And I do believe, I'm looking on here, that Otis or Dale, is Dale on here?
Yes, I'm on, but probably Mark Spikerman might be the best to answer the question.
Okay, Mark Spikerman, are you on?
Yes, I am, Mayor.
Could you please address Madam Comptroller's question?
Hold on.
Yes, these bond documents would be signed by the usual city parties, mayor, comptroller, city registrar, city councilor.
Then I would like and suggest that there would be a briefing given to my office, given to me as soon as possible so that there won't be a delay.
We're happy to do so, and we've already talked with LaTanya in the past week.
And then I'll get a briefing as well, I guess would be soon. Is that right? Is that
We
what I'm
will
hearing?
do everything that needs to be done, yes.
Thank you, sir.
Is there any other discussion about item number 6?
I have none, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. So there's been a motion and a second to approve items number 1 through 9 as amended by item number 5. All in favor of approving items number 1 through 9 as amended? Please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Items 1 through 9 are passed. Thank you all.
The renovations, well, I guess the expansion of activity at Anheuser-Busch was the subject.
Hold on. Hey,
Dale,
Mark or Dale or somebody, your mic's on. This Zoom meeting works a little different than I think some others, so your mic's on, you might want to mute. Okay, everybody muted that wants to be muted? Okay, there are additional items that the board may wish to discuss, and this is a recurring item that we've had. Request from the Comptroller's Office for an update, formal update from the City of St. Louis Mayor and President of the Board of Aldermen, the status of closing the workhouse. So I'll provide some information on that. Right now, the workhouse, or MSI as it's officially called, has about 200 detainees there. The CJC has a little under 600, so with a total, I think, right around 800. And so as most of you know, there was a major disruption on February 6th at CJC. Some individuals, one unit of individuals was moved to MSI. And so now there are 3 units. There are 8 units on the 3rd and the 4th floor of CJC. They have a capacity of around 66 people each. Each of 3 of those 8 units are now not occupiable because they are waiting for some renovations and improvements as a result of the disturbances in those 3 units. So until that work is done, certainly happy that we had MSI available, which, by the way, that we've made a lot of improvements to MSI over the last 3-4 years, totaling around $8 million. And it just so happens that the last pod at MSI was completed just a week before this latest disturbance. So I was very happy that we had that capacity available. So, I do think that everybody is still, on track to figure out what is the safest way and the most humane way to hold the detainees that are sent to the city by the judges. We don't have anything to say about who we detain. Those decisions are made by the judges, and then it's up to the executive branch and the department heads to figure out the best way to do that. And so right now, that's where we stand. Is there anything further?
Madam Mayor, I want to thank you for your report. Do I understand you to say that you finished the pod in terms of repairs at MSI? Is that what you mean when you say you finished the pod a week before the uprising? There were some repairs.
All of the pods at MSI have been improved over the last year, maybe year and a half. And they have had an upgrade to their HVAC system. They have had new showers, bathrooms, improvements. And just as a reminder to the public, I know you already know this, Madam Comptroller, but the pods are the newer section of MSI. The old section of MSI, that we call it the dorms, has been closed for close to 2 years now, at least a year and a half. So that area has been closed. No one has occupied that in a long time, but the pods, which are the 4 newer areas built, I believe, in the 90s. I don't know the exact date, but they also needed some upgrades. And so that work has been done over the last couple of years. And so the pods, the 4 pods, now have around 50 or 55 people in each pod. And that's how you get to the 200 people that are being detained at MSI.
Thank you. And I want to make sure you're saying that this was done in the last 12 months or 18 months or so for those 4 pods?
It was. I see Rich Bradley is on here. I don't know exactly when that work started, Rich, but I don't know if you are able to speak or not.
Yeah, we started that work probably about a year and a half or so ago. And a lot of that was a part of the 2018 general obligation bond. And we, as you mentioned, this wrapped up here within the last couple of weeks. And you highlighted all the items very well. Of course, those pods out there, as you again mentioned, were built in about the 90s. And so they were definitely in need of HVAC, flooring, showers, plumbing, toilet repairs, all those things that we did to bring them up to speed and get them, to current day prison standards were completed on all 4 pods.
Thank you. And one last thing, I do put this on the agenda, as you mentioned, Madam Mayor, each month for transparency and accountability. And I do find that some of the comments that I may make may cause some pushback from other members of the board. But I have to comment that while these ongoing repairs and updates and upgrades was going on at MSI, this board voted to support a closing of the workhouse as of a certain date, 12/31/2020. which that ordinance became law, as the board president likes to make sure that I understand. And of course, the workhouse is not closed, and no one here today, including myself, is advocating for that to happen today in this pandemic. So I wanted to set that argument aside so that it would not be part of what I'm trying to get to. What I'm trying to get to is the passage or even the thought of passing a closure when ongoing upgrades was occurring with taxpayer dollars and a bond issue that is paying for these upgrades. As you know, I did not vote to support the closure of the workhouse as of 2031, and that was because I didn't believe it to be a sincere effort, and I made those comments at the time. So I want to be very accountable with my actions to the public, the taxpayers. I am in favor of closure of the workhouse with a plan. You know, I wrote a letter, it's now been 3 years ago, to the mayor saying it's time for a roadmap to plan the closure. Since that time, things have occurred that have caused that not to happen. Everybody understands that, including myself, but I believe it's very important to bring out and point out the intent of certain kinds of board deals and what have you, and what they do, and you know what elected officials mean, what their word means when they say something. So I really want to state that from my point of view as a comptroller of this city, and state it plainly. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Comptroller. Okay, is there any other business that anybody wants to take up?
I move to adjourn this session of the Board of E&A.
Second.
All in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
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 Okay, thank you all. Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right. Bye.